Alright everyone, welcome back to the channel. We have some major boxing news. Ring 5 has been announced. The Night of the Samurai. This event's taking place December 27th. It is headlined by Inoue versus David Picasso for the undisputed super bantamweight title. Look, first of all, I just want to give credit to Inoue. We're talking about top 3 pound for pound world fighter, and this will be his fourth fight this year. Tell me another superstar, pound for pound undisputed boxer that gives you this amount of boxing a year. You can't. No one competes with that. Look, we're lucky with these superstars to get one fight a year. Even the superstars that aren't champions, and you're a superstar. I want to see you fighting 2 or 3 times a year, making your way to a championship. You get one fight a year out of them. You see Ryan Garcia, Teofimo Lopez. They're fighting one time a year, and you're like, what are you doing? Like, get in this ring, man. You're getting so much money. You're such a big star. Fight. And Naoya Inoue, he does that. He's taking on a tough contest in David Picasso. Also on also on the card, you have Junto Nakatani versus Sebastian Hernandez Reyes. That'll be Junto's first fight at Super Bantamweight. Kenshiro Taraji is taking on Ubaldo Garcia Perez for the IBF Super Flyweight title. Tiger Imanaga versus Armando Martinez Rabi for lightweight. Hayato Tsutsumi versus James Dickens for super featherweight. Reito Tsutsumi versus Leobardo Quintana Sanchez at super bantamweight. So a lot of fights there. As in the name of the title, the Night of the Samurai, obviously all the fights have a Japanese fighter on there, some superstars, some rising stars, talents. I think it'll be a great night of boxing, and it'll be good. This fight will be taking place in Riyadh, which is good because these Japanese fighters, not so much like Reito Tsutsumi, who has been featured on these Riyadh cards, but for Naoya Inoue and Junto Nakatani and Taraji, these people that fight all their fights in Japan on Japanese cards, they don't get the exposure that they deserve because they are superstar fighters and they are great fighters, and they fight in Japan, broadcasting rights as well as the time difference. Like, I think Americans have to watch the Japanese at like 4 a.m. or something ridiculous like that. For me in Australia, I get it prime time. It is the right time for me. Like Naoya Inoue's fight against Akhmadaliev, they walk to the ring at like 9:30 where I am. So it's perfect time for me, but not everybody's privy to that. And even that Akhmadaliev fight, people couldn't find it. It was put on Facebook. I mean, it was put on Facebook for free. And we're talking about Naoya Inoue, an absolute superstar, not being able to sell his fights. I know it was on Canelo Day, but this will be good for all of them. I don't think it'll be pay-per-view. It shouldn't be pay-per-view. I thought these ring cards weren't going to be pay-per-view from now on, so hopefully not. And hopefully everybody gets to watch and experience some of these Japanese fighters because it will be a great night of boxing. I will leave my previews and assessments of all these fights to a later date, but this is the news for today. All right, I do want to quickly talk about Tim Tszyu. Tim Tszyu obviously losing to Sebastian Fundora a few months ago now. It's taken some time off. He was visiting Japan, I believe, ironically, but he has made an announcement to do with his future career and his future endeavors within boxing. He has made a big call, and the team that he's been working with, the trainers, the management, everybody that he's been working with, pretty much since he started, since he was basically a kid, he has let go, which is hard for him because they were like his family. I believe Nikita Tszyu, younger brother, still works with those people, but he has made it clear that he is changing up his whole boxing team to take on this next chapter in his life. He also said that he will be moving to the US. I believe he's moving to the US just for his camps. I think he's still going to reside technically in Australia, but you know how these boxers are, 3 or 4 month camps. He's going to be in the US for those from now on with the new team, changing up everything about how he plans and gets ready for a fight. I think it's great. Lots of people have been calling for it. Jeff Fennick especially has been calling for it. I think after that Sebastian Fundora first fight, and then especially after the Barkram fight, we all saw that there was a problem there that needed changing. Unfortunately, it's taken Tim Tszyu getting destroyed in 2 fights, like really badly hurt against Barkram and then hurt again against Fundora for him to make the change. I do wonder if he made this change prior to Barkram, maybe he would have saved a bit of himself. Like you lose a lot of yourself and you put a lot of yourself out there when you get hit and dropped 3 or 4 times and really hurt against Barkram and then hurt again against Fundora. Every time you go out and fight, you leave something in the ring, and hopefully, I still believe there is a lot left in Tim Tszyu, and I hope he can rediscover his best with a new team. I just hope he hasn't left too much in the ring with the punishment that he's copped in recently. He ended good terms with his old team and trainers, which is good to see because, like I said, they were like his family. So, new steps for Tim Tszyu and hopefully a fight announcement soon. I'd love to see him get back in the ring. I don't expect to see him fight again this year. I'm probably expecting February, March of next year we might be able to see him, hopefully. And in what way, I don't know. Like I said he's going to move to US. He didn't actually state or name how his fights are going to go. Obviously, he was working with No Limit, and they were basically putting on his fights until it got to a world championship, and then he was with PBC for those world championships. Like, he fought in Florida for Barkram, he fought in Vegas twice against Fundora, all of those PBC with No Limit Boxing. If he's going to live and reside for his boxing camps in the US, does that mean his events are going to change? And even the ones that aren't world titles, for instance, that Joey Spencer fight was fought in Australia. Is he going to now have those type of fights in the US? We'll have to wait and see on that one. All right, this weekend we have a lot of fights going on, so we're just going to run through them quickly. Olivia Curry is taking on Kay Scott for a 10-round contest for the vacant WBC women's middleweight title. That's September 19th in Detroit. September 20th in California, Oscar Collazo versus Jason Vason for Collazo's WBO and WBA strawweight titles. Undercard, Gabriela Fundora versus Alexis Kubicki for a 10-round contest for Fundora's undisputed women's flyweight championship. I'll be honest, I don't really rate Alexis Kubicki. I think Gabriela Fundora is going to make light work of that fight. September 20th, Canada, Sarah Bailey's taking on Evelyn Nazarena Bermudez. That's a 10-round contest for Bailey's WBA women's junior flyweight title and Bermudez's IBF and WBO women's junior flyweight titles. And September 20th in Houston, OTX 16, Tiara Brown will be taking on Emma Gongora for the WBC featherweight title. This will be Tiara Brown's first title defense after taking the title off of Sky Nicholson earlier this year. All right, they're all the fights for this weekend. Remember, Ring 5, Night of the Samurai, what a card. I really hope that they make this a very, very good night. Can I say one thing real quick at the end of this video that I would love for boxing to adopt, because I think it's a great thing, and this is the type of night that I would say this is where it needs to be implemented. UFC, right? I don't talk about UFC much on this channel, but I'm a massive UFC fan. UFC, each year they do Noche, especially the last 2 years. Last year they did it at Sphere, and then they had it this year, Diego Lopez versus Gene Silva. And one thing that they do is they sort of make the whole Noche event Mexican themed, right? Obviously it's Noche, but it's Noche, it's a Mexican night. They dress up the ring girls in Mexican outfits, and they have a sort of this whole cultural adaptation of the UFC night. I would love for the boxing to adopt that, because I think it adds something to the night. I think it makes it special. I think it adds eyes. I think it makes it a great little event, and it differs from all other events. You know, this isn't now just another Ring 5 card. This is Ring 5, the Night of the Samurai, and we Japanese fighters. Let's get the ring girls into cultural appropriate outfits and have it sort of something different, makes it add to the event. You know, you watch all the UFC events, and you got UFC 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way up to whatever they're up to now, 320 or something. But then you come across and you say UFC Noche, and it's something different. And I think it's something that the boxing world can adopt. I think it's something that is cool, it's different, it's unique. Obviously, it's not really changing much. It's just adding a twist onto an event to make it better, different, unique, more eyes, more attractions, more everything. I think it is a great idea. Probably won't see it, but Turkey Al Sheikh, if you're watching this video, which I'm sure you're not, but Turkey Al Sheikh, if you're watching this video, put that through the system. All right, guys, like, subscribe, and I'm out of here. See yous.